I know that this is gonna make people feel uncomfortable, but we need to talk about it. We need to. Hey, it's Original Curly J, and today we have a very, very important topic. Now, you've already seen the title. You've clicked on it, so you know what we're gonna be discussing. But we're gonna go over Vagina Health 101. Now, if this makes you feel uncomfortable, feel free to skip the video, click off, it's okay. But I do feel like this is information that I think everybody should know. And because there's so much information regarding vagina health, I'm gonna split this video into 3 different videos. Not back to back, I'll kind of split them up so that way it's not just, you know. But today we're gonna be specifically talking about keeping it clean. Now, before we get into the video, I just wanna say thank you guys so much for the love lately. The support is crazy, and since the last video, we've surpassed 200 subscribers. We are at almost 250. 250. Seriously, it means the world to me. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell because the consistency is not stopping. And do not forget to follow me on all my social medias. Behind the scenes, everything. But like I always say, short, sweet, and simple, let's get to the goodies. And for the remainder of the video, I'm going to refer to vagina as Miss Vagina. It's spelled the same way, but it has a nicer ring to it, doesn't it? So the reason I decided to make a few videos on this topic is because I have noticed that actually a lot of people search that on YouTube and also Google. They search up like the health of it, they search up the body parts of it, they search up like period tips. They search up all types of stuff when it comes to vagina health. But some of the tips that people are giving are not great tips, truthfully. Like how to make it smell like vanilla down there, or trying to do certain tricks to stop your menstruation, which actually is cleaning your body, the inside of your body. So why would you want to stop that? There's just so many bad tips out there. So I wanted to put out my own tips because I was one of those kids when I was younger. When I was inside middle school, I did search that up. I did. I'll be completely honest with you. But now I'm older, I know some tricks, and also I talked to my OBGYN, which I always will recommend. So all of these tips I'm gonna give you are actually questions that I asked my OBGYN. That way they're actually doctor suggestions and not just random tips that I got off the top of my head. But I do want to shed some light on certain things that not a lot of people know before we get into how to keep her clean. So first, we're going to talk about the difference between a vulva and Miss Vagina, because there's a difference. When people refer to her as Miss Vagina, just Miss Vagina, they are talking about everything inside and out. But actually, Miss Vagina is just the canal that connects your vulva to your cervix to your uterus, which allows for monthly menstruation and childbirth. So Miss Vagina actually, technically, is not the entire outside and inside. It's just the canal that connects all 3. Now, your vulva is what encompasses all of your external genitalia. So your pubic hair, your clitoris, your labia, the opening to Miss Vagina, your urethra, and your urinary opening. And that's the parts that people normally have questions on, how to clean, and also things that happen on the outside, which is why when you ask a certain question to an OBGYN about your Miss Vagina, they think you're talking about up in there and not the outside, which 9 times out of 10, you're really talking about the outside. So that's just a fun fact. I mean, you can still call it Miss Vagina because technically it is, but that's the scientific word for the outside, which is what we're going to be talking about how to keep clean. And there's just a couple more things I want to mention, which is first, discharge, if you are a female that experiences discharge, is completely normal. Discharge is a fluid that comes out in a clear or milky white kind of color, and it has either no scent or a very light scent. If it's dark in color and it smells very strong, you need to speak to your OBGYN about that. Do not self-diagnose. And Miss Vagina is actually a self-cleaning organ, which means that you do not need to clean the inside because she cleans herself. And please remember that Miss Vagina is not meant to smell like cupcakes and butterflies. Every vagina has their own odor. And if you're trying to make yourself smell like cupcakes for someone else, they're just not mature enough to understand that that is how it's supposed to smell. Now, if it's super strong and fishy and it also has like burning or itchiness, you need to, again, see an OBGYN. Do not self-diagnose. But you're supposed to have your own odor down there. You're supposed to. She has her own smell. So stop trying to make it smell like cupcakes because that is actually hurting your pH, which we'll get into in a second. So now with that information out of the way, let's get into the tips on how to keep her clean. So first, you're never supposed to wash the inside of Miss Vagina, as this can upset your pH balance and cause irritation and infection. But of course, you're supposed to wash the outside, which you can do once or twice daily. It is recommended. And you can use just warm water, or you can use a very sensitive hypoallergenic soap. And instead of using a washcloth or a loofah, try to use just your fingers, because those can hold bacteria and your fingers are clean. And you definitely want to steer clear from scented soaps, scrubs, and vaginal care items. Yes, they say vaginal care. However, they can have opposite reactions and throw off your pH even more. And stop douching. I actually don't know who does this anymore. However, it is extremely recommended to not do that. So if you're someone that still does, stop. And if you don't know what douching is, look it up. But you don't really need to look it up, because you shouldn't be doing it anyway. And I'll put a list right here of very sensitive hypoallergenic soaps that actually are very good for down there. One obvious one, but you'd be surprised, is to wipe from front to back. Yeah, because sometimes people, when they're going down to go to the front, they kind of scrape the back, and you're now bringing fecal matter to the front. You get what I'm saying? So you'd be surprised, but obviously there are some people that probably don't wipe themselves properly, or they kind of, you know, swipe a little when they're going to the front. Yes, try to stop doing that. You know, reach all the way to the front, wipe to the back, bada boom, bada bang. And yes, we're talking about keeping her clean. However, excessive washing and chemicals can actually cause irritation. So don't wash more than twice a day. And if you do, make sure you're only using water. And another way to keep her clean, really from the inside out, is to consume probiotics like yogurt, as this can prevent yeast infections and reduce vaginal odor by keeping your pH on level. Another one that you'd be like, yeah, that makes sense, but a lot of people forget, is to drink water continuously. Again, it's flushing out and detoxing Miss Vagina from the inside out. And there are also some really good foods that help with your pH, such as garlic, sweet potatoes, avocados, apples, salmon, cranberries, and so much more. I'll leave a list right here. And of course, another way to keep her clean is something very obvious, but it's during sexual intercourse. Make sure that you check the ingredients of lubricants and condoms, and try to avoid these chemicals right here. I'll list them right here. But chemicals such as glycerin and parabens, and also, you know, scents and fragrances, steer clear, because it can definitely throw off your pH, which is then going to lead to it smelling interesting down there. And you don't want to smell interesting. You want to smell like yourself. And make sure after you're done, you go and urinate and flush out any bacteria, which is then going to avoid you contracting a urinary tract infection or a UTI. And sometimes it's even best to shower before and after, but that's like an extra step. You don't necessarily have to do that. You know, peeing after will get rid of it. And of course, another way to keep her clean is to make sure you get checked and tested annually. You just want to make sure everything aligns down there, you know? And the best way is to seek professional help by an OBGYN. And make sure that your partner is just as clean as you are, cleaning themselves before and after, peeing after, and just making sure that they keep themselves good down there. And just like that, that is all my tips for keeping her clean. See, it wasn't that bad. So I hope you guys enjoyed this first video of Miss Vagina Health 101. If you found these tips very helpful, or it was just good information for you to know about, give this video a huge thumbs up. And I'll throw in episode 2 maybe a couple weeks down the line, so make sure you put on that notification bell and subscribe. But I hope you guys had a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye!